I know you told us at the spring showcase, hey, we're not probably quite where we need to be at that position. Did it come down to need? You weren't impressed so far? Was it depth? What was the reasoning for it?
A combination of everything. We had talked as a staff that even in January we were going to try to find another graduate transfer. We couldn't get one in here in January. We came into a situation where there was 0 running backs on scholarship. That's unheard of in college football. Obviously, losing Mike McCoy put that where we were at. So getting James Gilbert in here was a huge thing for us to just have somebody to have some starting experience and some game experience. And then I was impressed with Harry Trotter and with Tyler Burns in spring ball. Both were nicked up. Tyler much more than Harry was in spring ball, so I have a pretty good idea of Harry, but I don't have as good a vibe on Tyler right now. I think they're both good players. I just didn't get to see enough. But we're looking for some game experience guys, and so that had been kind of talked about from us as a staff dating back to January.
Okay. Is it when we look at him, talking about Jorah Brown, and we were talking to our North Carolina partners, and they said, he's going to be a guy who's going to kind of, I guess, split handoffs a little bit. What's your plan of attack here for running backs, do you think?
Let him have an opportunity to compete. We didn't promise him anything. We laid out the depth chart and laid out where we were at and just said that you have a great opportunity to compete. Obviously, him receiving carries in the ACC, there's a great opportunity for him to have some carries here. Him missing spring ball, obviously, maybe doesn't put him behind for very long, but it's going to start him out behind and just learning our system and stuff. And that's why it's imperative that we get him in here as soon as we can, so that he can learn from James and learn from Harry and learn from Tyler. But if you'd watch our offense at North Dakota State, especially with Mess there, we were playing 3 and 4 running backs an awful lot, sometimes 3 at one time. And we have some talented true freshmen coming in here, but they're still true freshmen, and they'll have an opportunity as well. And so I also would say from a special team standpoint, we need to have running backs that are running down on kickoff and on punt and on kickoff return, not just returners, but blocking as well. And it's a position where I think you need to have multiple guys on scholarship because typically they're your best athletes. Bruce Anderson, the guy that we had at North Dakota State, was a great running back, great receiver, but was also our leading tackler on punt, leading tackler on kickoff, and that's why he's in with the Bucs as a free agent, because he can do multiple things.
Yeah, I guess without giving away the strategy ahead of time here in May, but do you have is that something you're going to stick with, kind of what you were doing? You mentioned.
Well, we're going to have to have multiple running backs. There's no question about it. It just the nature of our offense, the fact that we are going to have 3 out there, 2 out there at one time. And it's almost there's very few guys that are going to carry the thing 25 times and then be in there for every pass protection and be in there for every route that's thrown. Those. You don't see those as much anymore across the landscape of college football. Even when Jordan was at North Carolina, they were playing multiple guys there, and there's a lot of schools that are doing that. We're just happen to be one, and we happen to be one that does, and we've had success doing that. And plus, you put all your eggs in one guy, and all of a sudden he goes down, and you don't have the experience behind him. That's always tricky to deal with as well.
Obviously, you're around here every single day, and we're not getting to see who you're interacting with a whole lot. I wanted to ask you, have you had an opportunity at all to bounce things off of Coach Snyder if he's ever around, whether it's football, whether it's life, just anything?
Yeah, no, I really haven't, and I appreciate Coach in the fact of I really believe he's just letting me go and letting me do it. Make mistakes, do things the right way, whatever, my way. The fact that he's left me a couple of notes, one particular after the national championship game, because I know I think we all know Coach Snyder understands really good football and how hard this job is. So for us to win our 7th national championship in 8 years, I think he had a great appreciation of, okay, that's not easy to do. You don't just fall into that. There's unbelievable discipline, unbelievable dedication, hard work. And so he left me a really nice note after that game. And I also know that in talking to Sean that, he's going to step back and let me make mistakes. Let me do things. Now, if I've got questions, I would have no problem reaching out to him. But I'll let him enjoy his retirement too.
Let's step away from football here for a minute. I mean, you've got this and that, and you're always out, seems, doing something today. I see you're on campus handing out ice creams and stuff. But do you ever have an opportunity, if you ever have the opportunity to just take a step back from everything, relax, what do you do?
I like to go play golf. My son and I, we'll go play. I'll go play with Coach Mess a little bit, and I like to do that. But other than that, I just enjoy spending time with family, and that's the thing that I think oftentimes gets lost in this whole deal of, I'm the new head coach at Kansas State, and boy, everything's nonstop trying to make Kansas State better and doing all. Boy, I've got a family at home. I've got 3 kids at home. That's my most important project right now, is to make sure that those kids are settled in, that those kids are transitioning well. And I'm a big guy of be where your feet are. And when I'm at home and I'm talking to my young kids and stuff, I need to spend that time with those kids and make sure that their transition is going well. And sometimes we all get caught up in this is the only thing you should be doing is coaching football 24/7, and there's some truth to that. But when there's kids involved, and that's obviously my number one priority is my family, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's been challenging on a daily basis too.
And we were talking earlier about how much this place has changed, the stadium, these offices. Is there anything in the time that you've been here that stood out, at the stadium or Vanier, one thing that you look at and you just go, man, like that's really, really cool? Everything
is really cool. And I know we're here because of, in this facility looking out and stuff, because of Coach Snyder, all the coaches that he had under him, and all the players that put the blood, sweat, and tears in. That's why I'm a big believer in we do this for the former players. All former players are welcome here anytime they want to come. Love to have them at practice. I think that it's legacy, and it's their legacy that they laid here and laid the foundation for us to continue to build and grow upon. And I'm excited because it is. Every day you walk in, it's like, wow, this is a pretty cool place. But you got to thank Coach Snyder, his staff, and all the former players.
One more, and I'll wrap it up here. Probably the biggest thing that everybody wants to talk about all the time is jerseys and music and everything. Obviously, you've probably heard a lot about it. What is your philosophy here moving forward in things like that? In-game music, jersey. Do you bounce off players? Do the coaches make these?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll have a leadership council that we'll visit with this summer. The jerseys are tough because they're always a year out. You guys would have had to change them last year at this time to get them for 2019. So I know we're looking at for some things for 2020, but you got to do it a year in advance. And so those are things we're looking at, obviously, and I know it's a big part, and it's part of recruiting, and we'll have some different looks. We'll have even a potential different look this year. It'll probably be pretty subtle, but it'll be a different look. And then, music and those other things, I couldn't tell you what the heck goes on out there half the time. But if the guys are going to enjoy it and it gets those guys excited, I'm all for it. But I know that there's some things that change. I told them this too. Change is inevitable. Change just happens, and you better learn from change. You better enjoy change, because that's just going to happen in your life. You're going to change jobs. You better learn from the change. And so our guys have really embraced that.
I think we've all got opinions, so if you ever need them, we'll be happy to bounce
I'm sure you guys do. You guys have great opinions.
Thanks for the time.
You bet. Thanks.